Remember Norwegian 80s pop band a-ha? Well, tonight I want to tell you a story about how they may have saved the world. But first, a more recent Norwegian achievement.
Norwegians now buy more battery electric vehicles than all other car types combined. In fact, in 2020, only 17% of passenger vehicle sales were gasoline or diesel.
In Norway last year, 54% of new cars sold were electric, 74% if you include plug-in hybrids, leaving only 1 in 6 being petrol or diesel. Now, I know you're thinking, yeah, but Norway's weird. Santa lives there. Firstly, that's Finland. Secondly, plug-in car sales jumped pretty much everywhere last year. They made up a quarter of all new car sales in Germany and around 1 in 10 in the rest of Europe. Even America's biggest car company, GM, bought the most expensive advertising in the world, Super Bowl halftime, to show its commitment to electric cars, with this ad featuring Will Ferrell.
Do you know that Norway sells way more electric cars per capita than the US? Norway. Well, I won't stand for it. I'm in Norway!
Norway? You're in Sweden.
Damn it!
Usually when the US tells another country it's coming, you need to call the United Nations. But in this case, it's part of a good arms race to phase out cars with internal combustion engines. GM say it'll stop making petrol and diesel cars by 2035, Volvo by 2030, Jaguar by 2025, and Ford will stop making them in Europe in less than 10 years, which makes sense because a bunch of countries in Europe are planning to ban selling them anyway. So with a global shift taking place, what percentage of new cars sold in Australia are electric? Allow Carl Stefanovic and the Today Show's overly enthusiastic in-house DJ to explain.
While the rest of the world is hitting the accelerator on the sale of electric cars, Aussies are still lagging far behind. Electric vehicles accounting for just 0.7% of all new car sales last year.
0.7%. In the race to go electric, Australia has stalled at the starting line. Why? Well, partly because at the last election, the government campaigned against them.
I'll tell you what, it's not going to tow your trailer, it's not going to tow your boat, it's not going to get you out to your favourite camping spot with your family. Bill Shorten wants to end the weekend when it comes to his policy on electric vehicles.
Ironically, Bill Shorten lost the election and it's been the weekend for him ever since. The truth is, electric cars can tow planes, trains and other reluctant automobiles. And there are plenty that can tow boats and caravans too, but you can't buy one. Volkswagen says it's not worth importing them into Australia because our outdated emissions laws are so backward, they're embarrassing. They've even gone so far as to say Australia is becoming the automotive third world.
For just $1 a day, you can sponsor an Australian car.
So while Scott Morrison may complain electric cars can't meet our boat towing needs, it's actually because his government hasn't done enough to make them viable. So how did the Norwegian government do it?
It's mostly down to big financial incentives, including an exemption from import tax and the 25% sales tax, no annual road tax and large discounts on tolls and ferries. They can also use bus lanes.
Meanwhile, our government has said it won't be offering any of these incentives to electric car customers. And while federal Labor has relaunched its electric car policy, promising to make them cheaper to buy, the Labor government in Victoria wants to punish drivers for going electric.
Australia could be one of the first places in the world with a tax on electric vehicles.
Owners of fully electric cars will pay 2.5 cents for every kilometre they travel. Owners of plug-in hybrids will be slugged 2 cents a k.
So what would it take to convince the government to embrace incentives for electric cars? Well, that's where our old friends a-ha come back in. You see, Norway didn't always love electric cars. In fact, a huge chunk of their wealth came from fossil fuels. But one day, back in 1989, 2 members of a-ha bought an electric Fiat Panda. They didn't think less polluting electric cars should pay tolls, so they kept driving them through toll booths without paying. Eventually, the car was confiscated by authorities and auctioned, where a-ha bought it back and kept fanging it through all the toll booths without paying. Being pop idols, they gained a huge public following, and eventually the Norwegian government caved and made electric vehicles exempt from tolls in 1996. And Norway has been a leader in electric cars ever since. Australia can still catch up to the rest of the world, but to get there, Scott Morrison has to have his own aha moment.